What's up, y'all? John Joffrey with Revent Builds in Austin, Texas, and we are kicking off the week. It's Monday, baby.
Hey, I can barely hear you.
Dude, we're doing the demo video. We got all these masks in the office. What's the problem?
I can't hear you, so muffled.
Jesus Christ, man. It's so hard to get this damn thing on already.
I know you wanted to commit to the bit, but...
All right, is that better? Guys.
It looks a lot better.
All right. Sorry. I mean, I really wish I could have done that. Obviously, we're very festive around here. We have a badass new custom home, very close to the Modern Victorian. We're going to be kicking off that demo video this week, so we're getting ready for that. Be prepared. On another note, we have multiple things going on this week. We're punching out the Modern Victorian. We're trying to get our steel in, checking up on a lot of things. The house on Westlake Hills, our top secret lake project. We got Casa Tulum popping off. But what I want to show y'all right now is a project we just finished. It is a North Austin interior only remodel. We killed it and it is looking spectacular. Go and check that out.
How's it going? I'm Ryan. This is Abdul. We call him AJ. We are up here in North Loop at an interior design. We are at the final punch. We have just a couple more things to do, a couple problems that we've come into at the very end.
So the scope of the job, 2 walls. One was definitely right here, because I remember what it was. And the second one, that went straight across. The second one was probably about right here. There was a doorway where the cabinet was. You walk in, I'm standing in what was the kitchen, and then there's another doorway here, and there was this landing back here, and everything else down there didn't change. So it was closed off. It was pretty small rooms. It's a small house.
First thing we did was take out all the walls. We demoed everything. We demoed their whole kitchen, threw out their old appliances. We kept some things like the fridge and the dishwasher. And then we had to basically tear down, because we moved this wall right here. Then we started putting up our own framing. Insulation comes after that, and drywall, and then we started actually working on the floors.
It's a pier and beam house, which means it's sitting off the ground. So the house starts to sag, the wood starts to sag, so there definitely was a hump in the floor right about here, and it came up and sloped back down. So we had to take out the subfloor, we had to take the wood joists out, try to lower them out, try to level it as much as we can, but it was really bad, so we only was able to do so much. So we ended up having to float the floor mostly over there. Now we got almost level floor. And there was a door behind you to go outside, and there was a deck out there. So we closed this off. The door is now on the inside of the laundry room. We'll show you that in a minute. The kitchen was, again, really small, so now they got a huge kitchen now.
Well, by that time, once we were able to put the tile down, the cabinets were able to be put in, and once they were put in, then we could also start working on the backsplash. At that same time, there was another crew putting in the wood floors. Yeah, it all kind of came together real quick in like a week, I'd say.
The longest time was definitely fixing the floors and passing the inspections. Those took the longest time. Once drywall was in, we did the floors. It took us like a week and a half.
And we still have an inspection to pass, which you should be here any second.
Because hexagon tiles are not easy to install. They're not a perfect hexagon, so if you don't put them in all the same way, you can easily go off and you end up with bigger lines here or smaller lines there, which is what happened here. But
yes, this is the main issue right now. When these stair noses were selected, they were different colors, like the natural oak had different shades to it. So when we stained it, you can obviously see these 2 pieces have come out exceptionally darker than the top piece. So right now we are in process of trying to sand it down to make it lighter to restain it. Hopefully it works.
Oak wood is not it's not a pure wood color like pine is. Pine comes out almost unanimously the same. Oak comes out light, dark, sometimes red. So it's not a pure color wood, if that explains it. So that's why we have this one, you can see looks lighter than this one. And then this one looks lighter than this one, but that one's lighter than this one. So they're varying colors. So what happened was,
whoever selected it didn't take their time to like select.
they didn't handpick them,
Yeah, they didn't handpick them.
which is what you should do when you get raw oak wood. If you want it to match, you need to select it yourself and pick out what you want. Or you order a big bundle, take out the ones you want and send back what you didn't use.
And it really sticks out. I mean, when we walked with the homeowner, this is the main thing that she was happy about literally everything else, but once she got over here, I mean, it looks like shit, so.
I found prefabbed exact stair nose that's close to the color of the floor, but they're very expensive. Not to mention the labor it's gonna take to pull these out, make sure you don't damage anything and put them back in. So we're trying to do the least labor intensive thing right now, which is just sand them down, stain them, hand stain them and see where we end up at.
And saving them money too. Those are expensive, what he's talking about, the prefab.
There are like 8 of them. I think we needed 8 of them, 8 stair noses. And if I'm not mistaken, the ones that I found were about 70 to 90 bucks for one. And this was their washroom. It was their original washroom, which was over here. Their washer and dryer was over here. This was part of the wall that we also reconstructed. And this door wasn't here, it was a window here. The deck, we brought it up to match the door because the deck was originally, remember I said there was a door here, but it was below, it was on the ground. So the deck was that level down there. They built this up to match it. It's always easier to build a new house than to remodel an old house. Because when you remodel an old house, you're still dealing with old stuff. And you run into issues with compatibility with new material versus old material. So they
And you don't know precisely what stuff looks like underneath, you know, the floors, or just like this house, like we had huge problems with the subfloor. Like we didn't know that until we ripped it all up and then saw that it was janky and very.
They had a melamine subfloor, which is that particle board cabinets are made out of. That when it gets wet, it starts crumbling, it swells up and starts crumbling. They had that as a subfloor, the main subfloor, which is the first subfloor that sits on the joist. And then they had the actual plywood sitting on top of that. So it was 2 layers of subfloor, but the one on the bottom was crumbling because it's not designed to stand up to weather.
It's hard to wake up when the shades have been pulled shut. This house is haunted, it's so pathetic, it makes no sense at all.
What's up, y'all? Tuesday at the Modern Victorian. AJ and Ryan are freed up from our small interior remodel. They are now officially on punch out of the Modern Victorian, and that is just music to my ears. But this fucking driveway is going to be the absolute death of me. We have our final inspection today. For some reason, our concrete contractor put an expansion joint right here on what's called the wing of the right-of-way. The inspector did not like that. So we had to patch it in, but he said he did not want to see it at all. So now AJ's coming with his grinder. We're gonna try to grind this damn thing out before our inspection, and I pray to God that we can get a pass. So basically the inspector said, as long as it doesn't look like a patch, we're gonna be okay. So now we're gonna try to grind this out and make it look a little less like a patch. Yeah! Arm head? A stone head?
Yeah, it's like that. It's kind of...
Why? They're just f***ing with us. Just classic, you know, supposed to be kind of a light day. Give the cabinet makers kind of the house, and there's 4 different trades here, you know. We're pulling up that asphalt because lo and behold, our contractor used the wrong kind. It happens, that's on him. We're pulling it up, getting the right stuff. Gonna finally pass that inspection once that's done. Electricians are here putting in our mast, which is just basically the pole that comes out of our panel through the roof where they connect the wires in. They're doing some more trim out. Cabinet makers are here painting that office door the same color as the cabinets. And then the welders are here fixing some of the ends of the rail to just tie it into the framing. And then finally the plumbers are on the way because we need to pull out the steamer unit to hook up power to that. It's another day in the life. 1 step forward, 4 steps back.
What's up, man?
Here he is, Willy Wonka himself. That's one of the brothers. That's Vince. Him and his brother Angel and their dad worked for like a massive plumbing company called Christensen. Then they went out on their own, and their very first job was with me on one of my very first projects in Austin, and they've been with us ever since. Kendall's always got to be sleeveless and like really showing his like alpha male out.
These can't contain me.
Those traps can't be trapped. These look bigger. Appliance pulls. So what's cool about this is that's a structural 4x4 steel post behind there. But now that we put brake metal over it, it looks like both of these windows are corner units. So it gives the illusion that this is wrapping around this whole corner. I'm also glad the electricians are here because he's cutting out the back panel of that cabinet to fit the microwave. And we need to move the outlet into the top left corner. So that'll be another good thing we're checking off our list. Appliances are getting installed Friday. That is a massive, that's like a waypoint of like, hey, we're about to finish this damn job when appliances come in. Cabinet guys, welders, plumbers, electrician, driveway, and countertops. 6 trades today. Shake it for me, girl. Shake it for me, girl. Shake it for me. Wow, wow. Shake it for me, girl. Okay, so really, when Duval comes out to like finish up all the countertops, he's gonna polish out any minor scratches, he's gonna seal everything, fix all the miters, all that stuff. That's a little bit later in the process, but we have appliances coming out Friday. They came and did a pre-site. So what they do is they take all of our measurements, make sure the range can slide in. We have the right width in the front. It's like perfect for the range to fit. We're a little more narrow in the back. So this edge right here is kind of sloping in just by a 1/4 inch. So he's gonna take 1/8 off each side so that this range can slide in perfectly. So as you can see, this space looks a little different than the first time we were here. We have our manufactured floor trusses. We basically put a floor in between. This was 20 feet. Now we have 10 feet under each floor. We did run into some complications. I mean, this stuff happens anytime you have new framing meeting old. So if you can see our trusses, they're 18 inches. That's 1 foot 6 inches. Over there, those skinny, it's a 2x4. The original trusses are 24 inches. So they're 6 inches taller. So what we had to do is, if you can see our new framing here, we had to build up the top plate so that our 18-inch trusses can sit on top of here, so to fill in that gap. And you know, just having to plumb some different walls. We had to put blocking in between the steel beam up there, fur out a few walls, just make this space all plumb, looking good. But I mean, as you can see, we just added like 1,200 square feet to the second level. So right now we're getting our electric rough in, which is a little tricky because we're doing a tray ceiling. So the ceiling is actually gonna be furred down at the sides and recessed in the middle in this kind of octagonal shape like the room. And we're coffering it. So there's gonna be like a hashtag pattern of beams running through it. And we do not want our can lights to conflict with our trim. So our framer is gonna come back out here, mark where all of the tray ceiling and the coffered ceiling is on the floor so the electricians can get those can lights in. We're also doing like the Modern Victorian, a pictured mold, wainscoting over all of these walls that you see. It's even going to wrap around, there'll be a curved portion around the barrel ceiling, and all of this trim is going to curve inside of this too, with sauce hinge doors. So any doors that are within these trim are gonna be built into the wall paneling and trimmed down the doors. It's gonna look sick. Coming through here, we had an existing fireplace. The surround came out to here where we chipped it out, the old surround. So like, just really beefy in the room. We wanted to go a lot more sleek and modern. They had some warming drawers and like a smoker. We deleted all that. So our plumbers came, deleted all the gas. We're putting these CMU or just cinder blocks in the walls to hold all this up, making it nice and plumb. And then we're gonna come back over this and basically drywall over all of it, make it nice and smooth. But we're putting a really cool stone mantle that'll be out about 18 inches around this whole area. I mean, this fireplace in itself, it's a real wood burner. It's massive. You know I love massive. But I mean, you know, like you gotta use the right words. I can fit in this damn thing. You can cook me if you wanted to. So that'll be a lot more sleek. We'll paint all the inside with a special fire resistant paint that we do for all the inside of the fireplaces. Gonna look really nice and sleek. I wish I could show you outside. We're doing a number of different additions to the house, master bath, master bedroom, but remember, we can't show the outside, so we'll show you the inside when we get over there.
And non-reckless abandon, something's wrong, you should, nothing to, I keep forgetting the words, fucking it up.